Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the body of a missing 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham found in a river. What we know this evening.
A San Antonio teaching assistant dies on campus. How a student-involved interaction played a role.
And a local gun shop in Victoria among the list of shops that sell the most weapons used in crimes.
Another beautiful day, lots of sunshine, got up to 79 degrees today, and yeah, we're going to continue with this very spring-like weather for quite some time. We'll have your forecast coming up.
And it's playoff day, and there's more realignment news. Hear that update coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. In Wharton County, sheriff's deputies took a Victoria man into custody. 23-year-old Donald Gustone was charged with human smuggling. The arrest warrant came out of Kenny County.
Michael Cloud wants to remain serving the Crossroads as U.S. Representative District 27. Congressman Cloud, like the rest of the GOP in the House, disagrees with President Biden's plans for border security. Cloud also told us how important it was for the House to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
Really important to do that because we haven't had a secretary who's so belligerently, willfully doing everything they can to obfuscate the law. This isn't just malfeasance. This isn't just not doing good at your job. This is actual willful, intentional, doing everything you can to subvert the clear intention of Congress as written in the laws of the land.
Here are the other Republican candidates in the ballot in District 27, Chris Mapp, Scott Mandel, and Luis Espandola. Luis will join us in studio this Thursday on 25 News now at 5. The winner here will face the Democrat who wins the primary election March 5th.
And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, spring is here, spring has sprung.
Gorgeous day.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful day.
Oh yeah, it's definitely sprung all over the place, and I don't see any major changes in this. Now we do have a cool front. I have to call it a cool front, but today, gorgeous day. It's just that this front is already out, moving out of Los Angeles and headed in our area. It'll give us a little bit of a wind, but I really don't think it's going to give us any rain. We'll talk about all that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. In San Antonio, school police and administrators at a high school are investigating the death of a teaching assistant.
The man known as Mr. Fred fell and hit his head during an interaction with a student earlier this month.
73-year-old Alfred Jimenez worked here at Brandeis High School as an instructional assistant helping students with special needs. At 10:30 in the morning on February 7th, district officials say Jimenez was in the middle of interacting with a student when he fell to the floor and sustained an injury to his head. Officials couldn't get into specifics about the student interaction. Jimenez was then rushed to the hospital. Officials say campus administrators and Northside ISD police are investigating what happened. School officials sent out this joint statement, which says in part, "The entire Bronco family is grieving his loss. His impact on the campus was far-reaching and impacted students and staff both in and out of the classroom. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the Jimenez family during this challenging time. We remain dedicated to providing support to Mrs. Jimenez and her family."
Search crews found 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham's body in the Trinity River near Livingston just before 4 p.m. today. Audrey went missing last Thursday, and investigators believe 42-year-old Don McDougal was the last person to see the young girl, probably dropping Audrey at her school bus stop. Investigators say they have not ruled anyone out as a suspect, but McDougal is the main person of interest. McDougal was a family friend who lives in a camper behind the home where Audrey lives. McDougal is now in custody because he was arrested Friday on an unrelated assault charge.
DPS issued 12 Amber Alerts for missing children across Texas this year. KVUE reports the statewide alert for 1-year-old Noah Johnson was canceled, but the regional Houston alert is still active. There were 44 Amber Alerts issued in Texas last year. That's an increase in 13 alerts from the year before. In 2022, Texas led the U.S. in Amber Alerts issue, making up 17% of the alerts in the U.S.
A Victoria gun shop made the list of shops in the U.S. that sold the most guns used in crimes. Platinum Pawn and Jewelry, 2310 North Navarro, made the ATF list. Platinum Pawn and Jewelry told us that every 6 months they send to the ATF a list of pre-owned guns they sell. The ATF does a serial number check on guns that could have been used in a crime over 10 years ago. Platinum Pawn and Jewelry said they never know if the pre-owned guns they sell have been used in a crime. Every gun brought in has a serial number, and they said every gun buyer there has to fill out a form. They say they download all information to the Victoria Police Department on every gun bought there every day. Victoria County Commissioners discussed changes at the Victoria Regional Airport Tuesday. Commissioners looked at proposed improvements at the airport. The improvements could attract new industry and airport tenants. The building of a new terminal was proposed. Airfield pavement improvements were discussed, along with installation of a new sign at the airport. 2 local United Methodist churches lost their insurance coverage. KXAN reports about 300 United Methodist churches in South Texas were dropped by an insurance company. Church Mutual said they dropped the coverage due to rising costs and greater potential for hurricanes. First United Methodist Church in Victoria told us it was hard for them to find another insurance company, but they did find one and they are now covered. Telfner United Methodist Church also got insurance from another company after it was dropped.
Wednesday, Crestwood Drive will close between Navarro Street and Main Street from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. for paving operations. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the Crestwood Drive Phase 3 reconstruction project. Oil and gas exploration company Devon Energy helped fund the 150th STEM learning program in Hallettsville. The program offers hands-on learning designed to teach students how to solve real-world problems. The 150th STEM project was awarded today to Hallettsville Elementary. Stephanie Graham, principal at Hallettsville Elementary, says the STEM program will take her students to the next level of learning.
We have an enrollment of about 420 students, so this just provides hands-on learning in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for all of our students.
Today, current STEM students demonstrated equipment such as 3D printers and snap circuits, among other tools. Also, Cal Ripken Senior Foundation is a partner in the STEM program. Leading us to your viewer poll this evening, you can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, are hands-on STEM programs effective in preparing students for real-world problem solving? Do you strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree? According to our results, it looks like 80% takes the lead with strongly agree. We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
Early voting in the primary election started today. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. all days except Sunday, February 25th, when the polls open at 9 a.m. and close at 3 p.m. Early voting ends March 1st. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. A YouTube vlogger in Utah pleads guilty to child abuse. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, the closing statements this evening.
Also ahead, American Airlines is raising their bag fees. Those numbers straight ahead.
The U.S. is looking into whether an airstrike against a terror group, al-Shabaab, in Somalia killed 2 Cuban doctors. Al-Shabaab says the strike on Thursday hit a house, killing the 2 doctors. This is the first time al-Shabaab acknowledged holding the doctors hostage after kidnapping them from Kenya nearly 5 years ago. A U.S. defense official says there is no credible evidence of any civilian casualties in the strike. The U.S. considers al-Shabaab the largest al-Qaeda network in the world.
The trial date for Duane Davis, who is accused in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur, is now pushed back 5 months. After the hearing, the attorney for Davis said he is confident his client will soon be able to make bail. Davis is accused of helping orchestrate the fatal shooting of Tupac Shakur almost 30 years ago. Prosecutors say statements and writings by Davis put him in the car when the fatal shots were fired. Davis' attorney said his client's prior interviews and statements were only an effort to simply make more money.
Now to the sentencing for Ruby Franke, the parenting influencer on YouTube who pleaded guilty to aggravated child abuse of 2 of her children.
This comes after Franke's 12-year-old son climbed out of a window, ran to a neighbor's home, and told the neighbor he was going through abuse.
It's Judgment Day for momfluencer Ruby Franke.
I have broken hearts, and I've caused people to suffer, and I have betrayed sacred trust.
The YouTube vlogger and her business partner, Jodi Hildebrandt, pleaded guilty to multiple felony aggravated child abuse charges in December.
I'm willing to submit to what the state feels would be an appropriate amount of time served to make retribution.
Tuesday, a judge sentenced both defendants to 4 consecutive sentences of 1 to 15 years in prison. The amount of time the 2 actually spend in prison will be up to the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole.
Those type of people shouldn't be walking the streets when they committed these kind of crimes.
I hesitate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian.
Franke making a name for herself online, known for her tough love style of parenting, often appearing in videos with Hildebrandt.
I'm Jodi Hildebrandt.
And I'm Ruby Franke.
Their notoriety reaching an infamous peak last August after Franke's son escaped from Hildebrandt's home.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
As part of her plea agreement, Franke reading a prepared statement in court admitting she tortured her son and forced him to do physical tasks for hours and days at a time.
They're also going to look at anything that can increase that sentence or mitigate it. They're going to look at the extent of the abuse. All of these items are going to be factored into that decision and exactly how much time from 1 to 15 years they'll receive for each charge.
For her part, Hildebrandt did appear in court today but declined a trial, saying she didn't want the children to have to testify and relive their experiences all over again. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Washington.
Checking a bag on American Airlines is now more expensive than other major U.S. airlines. The first checked bag on most flights will now cost $40 for customers who don't prepay online and $35 for customers who do. Fort Worth-based American Airlines has also hiked the price of a second checked bag from $40 to $45. The changes are now in effect for future flights. American's biggest rivals both charge $30 for the first bag and $40 for the second on similar routes.
Beyonce made history today with her new song Texas Hold'em. It debuted in the top spot of Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart. This makes her the first woman to have topped both the Hot Country, Hot R&B, and Hip Hop song charts since the list began in 1958. 16 Carriages, a second single on her upcoming country album, ranks number 9 on the chart.
And she grew up where?
In Houston,
Houston.
Texas.
In Houston, of course. Just checking, you know. She's legitimate. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It was another beautiful day, lots of sunshine, very mild weather. Got up to 79 degrees. Right about now, we're at 71. Of course, the sea breeze is rolling back in with more humidity. Tonight, we're going to have another bout of fog by sunrise. And our high at 79 is 9 degrees above our average for this time of year. Now that 45 that we were this morning, we're probably not going to get there tonight, probably about 58, 60 degrees as low temperatures. But beautiful sunshine for the next couple of days. There is a front coming in our direction. We'll talk about that one coming up in just a moment. I know you're all excited about having all that sunshine, getting out there, doing a little golf game, and getting out there working with the plants. Let me tell you, first of all, the flowers and the trees are going to start budding probably next week because of all this heat. They think it's already spring. I think it's already spring too. If we were, shall we say, likely to have a late season killing frost, it'd be a problem. But I don't think we're going to get one. As I said earlier, the El Nino jet stream is rolling across North America, not letting anything from the north drop south. So everything we're going to see over the next 2-3 months is going to be coming at us from the west. So beautiful day, not only over our area, but pretty much the entire state of Texas, abundant sunshine. West Coast, well, they're having more problems. Big rain, probably 4 inches already in Los Angeles. It's moving up into the Las Vegas area. Big storms here, right here. They're getting deluge. I mean, and you know, with the ground already pretty much soggy, they're going to see, you know, houses are going to be sliding, I'm telling you. So for us here in the coastal band, we're looking at that south wind. It continues bringing in moisture. Last night we probably felt a little bit of that humidity. Tonight you're going to feel it too, because by the time we get to a little bit after midnight, we're going to start seeing fog developing around the area. There you see it about 4 miles at midnight, then 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to get thicker and thicker. So we're looking at half-mile visibilities or less early in the morning, and I'm talking widespread tomorrow morning, more so than we had this morning. So just know that about sunrise, when you try and get out there, you're going to go, where's my car? So you're going to be looking for it in the fog. So just watch out for that tomorrow morning. The following morning, I don't think we're going to have this problem because by then the winds will be too strong. So we go all the way and we watch and wait for the little frontal system coming through. Notice that tomorrow we'll be 77, then 81 on Thursday, and then look, a cooling trend from 81 down to 73 on Friday as that frontal system comes through the region. Overnight tonight, about 58, 60 degrees, not as chilly as it was this morning. And then tomorrow, we're looking for another mid-70 kind of day, 76, 77, somewhere around there. But you're going to enjoy it. There's high pressure still on top of us. But as we look into the future, we see Wednesday, that storm rolls out of the Rockies. The frontal system drags below it. But it's going to be a very weak system. It's not going to have any moisture to work with, so I don't think we've got any kind of problems with any precipitation as this thing comes through. It will be a wind shift line, and it'll get rather breezy behind it, but high pressure builds over us again and gives us another stretch of very nice days. I love the temperatures. It's lovely to have the sunshine. I'm just wondering what happens when we get to June if we're already warm. Big question. Sunny skies, partly cloudy, getting up to about 74, 75 tomorrow. In Cuero, partly cloudy, getting up to about 76. And we are looking at good weather as well for Thursday. Then the front comes through on Friday morning with that gusty north wind. You see it right there. It'll be cooler for 2 days, and then it warms back up to near 80 degrees as well. So yeah, spring's pretty much sprung over the crossroads. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now we'll toss it back to Karina.
Thanks, Mac. And now here's sports reporter Zach Brown.
It's playoff day and some tough but expected news for the Victoria West Warriors. I'll have that coming up in sports. UIL realignment was a hot topic just a few weeks back. We had some surprises and some moves, and one of those surprises right here in town, the Victoria West Warriors moved to 5A Division II, but placed in District 13 with a bunch of schools that will make travel more than double what it has been. They appealed to the UIL committee and today got the word that they will in fact stay put. Their appeal has been denied. The West Warriors hoping they could be placed in District 14 with the Corpus area schools, but that won't be granted. But head coach Courtney Boyce reiterated a few weeks prior that Victoria West football will always be ready to work and get after it, but they have to be disappointed in not being moved to that District 14. In boys hoops today, the Cora boys, well, they had a bi-district round showdown. Their season does come to a close, but the Gobblers did a great job to even make the postseason. Their district record was not great in the first half of district play. They really turned it around in the second half, finding themselves in the playoffs, but their journey does end with a 71-34 loss to Bernie. Now they turn the page to baseball and softball season. In other boys hoops, the Edna boys travel up the road to Goliad for their bi-district matchup with the Randolph Rohawks. Edna has been great this year, winning their district. They don't have to travel far. That could be a small advantage, and they should be heavily favored. The Bloomington Bobcats hit the road to Luling, where they will take on the Thrall Tigers. The boys maybe can avenge the girls who got knocked out by Thrall in round one. Here in Victoria, the Victoria East Titans get their regional quarter game, and it's right here at Victoria West. They will play this game in a stadium that's a neutral site, but it's still in town, so that's also an advantage. The Lady Titans beat this team a few months prior. Victoria East with an excellent opportunity ahead of them to go 4 rounds deep in the postseason. Over in Houston, the Cougars entering with the longest active home winning streak at 19 games, trying to make it 20 in a row. CJ Stroud and U of H alum Tank Dell in the house to watch it all unfold, and it was worth their time. The Houston Cougars grabbed their 20th consecutive home victory, defeating Iowa 73-65. The Cougars, by the way, ranked at number 2 and as of now projected to grab a 1 seed come March Madness. And check this out in San Antonio, Incarnate Word and Texas A&M Commerce throwing blows after Commerce's win in overtime. Coaches did what they could to break it up, but the fight spilled all across the court and lasted for at least a minute. You could hear the announcer saying that there was a young woman with blood on her face. The Southland Conference said they will review footage and hand out appropriate disciplinary action and called it unacceptable. Wild stuff over there at Incarnate Word. Donna Karina, back to you.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Crazy stuff. We're going to be back in a moment. South Texas-based SpaceX launched an Indonesian communications satellite just today.
SpaceX launched an Indonesian communications satellite today. A Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station just after 3 p.m. On board was an 8,800-pound communications satellite. It will provide fast internet service for customers in Indonesia for the next 15 years, so they say. SpaceX, based in Brownsville, said it was the 17th launch and landing for this particular booster. And eventually that booster then fell into the ocean, but they got the satellite up in the air, and that's all that matters.
Now, internet access for all.
Just wondering, did it land in the ocean or did it re-land on the pad? You know, they're the ones that do that really smart stuff. It just blows my mind.
I read that it went into the Atlantic.
Oh, okay.
The booster, yeah, but
wow.
Now it's up in the air, and Indonesia now can
Giving
get
us internet
internet. Yes, and for people who don't use the internet but want to get the weather straight from Mac.
the source.
This is where you need to be to get the weather. All right, another beautiful day tomorrow, getting up to about 77. We will have some fog tomorrow morning if you happen to be driving early. Otherwise, the front comes through on Friday with a gusty north wind and knocks the temperature down 8 degrees.
Burr.
See if we can deal with that.
Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.